Thanks for staying with us.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure, as always.
What's the hullabaloo about on the socials?
A lot of things happening, actually. On the one hand, we have, issues of the government. Besides, today is Ash Wednesday. Yeah, so for Catholics, the Lent begins today. Yeah, so you'd see a lot of people with the cross on their forehead with ashes, so don't be alarmed.
So the Muslims are fasting, Catholics
are
fasting as well.
And then, while talking about fasting, we also talk about something that a lot of people fast about. They want to get married. And then when you get married, there are still attendant problems. So we actually have two things we want to talk about today, and they are intertwined. So the premarital drama and the intermarital drama. So the premarital one has to do with someone who, she's about to get married, and her mother-in-law says, "Oh, I want you to wear the wedding gown I wore on my wedding day." And she's like, "Why?" And the woman says, "Oh, I want you to look exactly like me." Now, my first thought was, does she have a daughter that could wear it for her?
Even if she did, I bet you the daughter will not agree to wear the dress.
So the problem now, the plot twist is the husband is saying, or rather, a fiance is saying, if you can't wear it, the wedding is off. We'll talk more about that. On the other hand, there's also the story. Now, this one is already a case of they're married. She's trying to save or keep her marriage. Keep is the word. She's the one handling all the responsibilities,
mostly
tuition, anything financial. Yet, Oga wants from the derriere. And she's been obliging him, but then she ended up with hemorrhoids. Now, having the hemorrhoids is saying, go do surgery so we can continue.
No, she's never actually obliged him.
She's never obliged him, but now she has hemorrhoids.
Like, it's not even part of it. So to even add salt to injury, she actually has hemorrhoids.
And now said go and do surgery.
So,
So, the things people do to keep their relationships, basically, that's the focus this morning.
Yeah.
And I can see looking at us like, get me out of here. What's your take on it? She had to flip her hair first. When does that, she has a lot to say.
To be honest, now let's take it one story at a time, right? The first is on the lady whose mother-in-law wants her to wear her wedding dress on her wedding day, on her wedding day, just so that she looks like her. They say wisdom is profitable to direct, which of course, regarding these two stories, wisdom is very, very, very needed. You need to pray for it from the Holy Spirit, because these stories are, the situations are very delicate. You need to handle with care
and
wisdom. And wisdom. And emotional intelligence as well. You need to deploy those three, elements practically to be able to deal with them. Well, if your mother-in-law says she wants you to wear her wedding dress, even if it is not in style or it doesn't fit into your style, what I would advise you to do is, just so that peace can reign, find a way to maybe
tweak it,
alter it. Don't alter it too much. Just tweak, make it stylish. Say, "Mommy, I really love the dress, but I want this waist to be straight." Your daughter-in-law has to. You have to caress and placate and patronize. No, you have to find a way to talk it,
to balance,
to talk it in, balance, because that dress has to fit. No, you have to find a way to manage it, right? Because to be honest, during the pre-wedding season is one of the most challenging and hectic and most stressful time or moments, during the whole
and
wedding.
But exactly, high. Even the man saying, "I'll call it off." Do you understand?
So you don't want to add, you don't want to add that extra burden and stress to the already piled up stress. So you have to find a way to, if it really, really means so much to you, you have to compromise. Because you are going to make most of those compromises in the marriage, either ways.
So that's where my
let it prepare you for the compromise that you're going to make in the marriage.
That's what my point is hinging on, right? So now, to what extent, if something like this is going to literally make the man say, okay, you know what, if you don't compromise, if you don't do this thing, there is no wedding. First of all, he has literally entered
red
threats.
flag.
He has entered a threat position, and that is a very, very giant flag. Do you understand that everybody should be seeing? And another thing, you need to understand that I don't know how people deal with it, but the kind of person I am, if you ask me to do something and I really, 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 really don't want to do it, I will tell you, sorry, ma, I can't. Please don't be angry. I'm not trying to be rude. Because the truth is, today is wedding dress. Tomorrow is another thing. I literally read a story about a mother-in-law that insisted on birthing her grandchild. Because of that, the child ended up with cerebral palsy. When it was too late, the husband wasn't around. He had to quickly go on a wedding trip. Do you understand? And then, when the woman, she was pushing. They have said no, she did midwifery when she was young.
Yeah.
She has delivered all manner of babies.
Please, man, let's go to the hospital.
She said no. Until the girl was unconscious, she couldn't push anymore. Finally, they rushed her to the hospital. The child came. In fact, they gave birth and everything. It was a year after they realized the child literally had cerebral palsy. Why? Because the mother insisted that she was be the primary support since the husband was not around, and then she had done this thing before. They're not using hospital and all of that. So my point is, yeah, it's important to compromise. But then again, a man that cannot stand and say, okay, fine, I married a human being who is an individual with her mind and thinking faculties intact, who has the ability to take, you wore your own wedding, is it not your wedding dress?
Just imagine if our own mom also wanted her to
wear her wedding dress.
So
why
she now wear the two
you never
at the same
know.
time.
You never know.
So see, as far as I'm concerned, I'm right smack in the middle. Part of me is saying
to
you're right.
On,
part of me is saying you're right. But
start.
at the end of the day, let's also remember, compromise comes with wisdom. When compromise is getting too much, you need to know that there's a red flag. Because of all ridiculousness, wearing a wedding gown is now making somebody tell you the wedding will be called off. That to me is extreme. I mean,
it just shows that
you think you're doing the woman a favor by marrying her.
Exactly.
I mean, your mom is saying, oh, can't you even, see, if you really respect your woman, she shouldn't be having conversations with your mom. It should be you in the middle. Like, okay, babe, let's see how we can meet halfway. Not, if you can't wait, we won't get married. Hello, what's so special about you marrying her?
What are your thoughts on the other story?
And then for the other story, see, I know women do a lot of things to save their marriages. I know they do a lot of crazy things. But my sister, that thing comes with a lot of complications. Do you have children already? If you have children, try and keep in mind that you want to stay alive to take care of your children. There are people who do it, there are ways around it. But one funny thing about the body is what works for A might not work for you. And at this point, you better ask him certain questions, especially about his sexuality, if you know what I mean.
Oh, well, there's that, right? True. So I think the premise of that story was the fact that, okay, fine, they were celibate before they got married, and they dated for like 5 years. But despite the fact of being celibate, they never spoke about their sexual fantasies, right? So, I mean, getting there now.
This one is not a fantasy.
So that's the thing. So that's another situation that, okay, even if you're forming celibacy before you get into marriage, have these conversations. Very, very important. But the truth is that even if you have the conversation, anybody can spring up anything at any time.
I mean, people change.
And it's true, people actually change. True. And then, I mean, the fact that he's actually so insistent on it, he's literally telling you to go for an operation that is literally like super. So it's funny how, I mean, when she finally couched the story, she now ended it to, I know my husband is a good man.
No, it's so that
but I just feel like
you can know that she values a marriage.
And yeah, of course. And it's really sad because she has given him the option now. You either cancel this fantasy permanently from your mind, or I've given you the liberty to literally go out
and help yourself.
But then again, people are literally talking about, I mean, it's one thing for you to even say, okay, your husband should go out, but at the same time, that's the quickest way to literally contract HIV/AIDS.
Yeah, but go and see a counselor.
yes, actually, yes.
Go and see a counselor, go and see a therapist, whatever it is that you both need to see, because you have to, before you make any decision that could hinder on the marriage or that could impede on it negatively, it's better to see a counselor. Try and exhaust every other means of trying to make that relationship work, to sort of, also, satisfy both parties before you now say, okay, I'm willing to, do whatever it is that would, because if she allows him you must well be in an open marriage
Yes,
situation.
exactly.
You are actually.
Because if you're
totally
allowing him, you to, how do you satisfy yourself?
And then
Are you not entitled to being satisfied too? Or is it only men that deserve satisfaction? So you need to see a counselor, you need to see a therapist, whatever, if you need to see I mean, maybe prayer, I don't know about the church or the religious centers in this regard, but see a professional where, and then also see if your husband is close to his mom. Well, which of course third parties, men are very finicky when it comes to third parties.
Actually something this
because even counselors gone self, some of them
They will not talk.
may not allow you, say no.
They will not open their mouths.
If other issues, if mundane issues you take to a counselor, they're already raising hell and high waters. Is it
pride do not allow
this
them.
one that will allow them to take it? So I mean,
Yeah.
like I said earlier on, see wisdom, because both matters are very delicate.
Because in
This
the
is
situation,
what
she seems to have mentally checked out of the marriage, because she honestly doesn't feel she actually feels love for the guy anymore, so she can do whatever he wants to do.
In this kind of situation, look,
Yeah.
you just need to weigh all your options.
Yeah.
There's actually no crime in getting those things, sorting yourself out if you can. But really, if one person doesn't want to, then certain conversations have to be had.
That's where
As
compromise
Ellen
now
said,
comes in.
you need to consider counseling and all. But if counseling itself doesn't even work, talk to yourself, or that marriage just might not work
Do what's
anymore.
best for you.
Do what's best for you. Yes.
Yeah,
In
so
cases
that's
of marriage.
when
do what's best for you.
if whatever the consequences are, you know that you did it.
Yeah, it
you
was
own
your
it.
choice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's it on our coffee just for now. Interesting conversation, I would say. Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. We'd like to hear your thoughts, people. The show continues. Stay with us.